This is Leisha Holmes of Key Recruitment, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome to our channels today a very familiar face to me, obviously, and to our fellow colleagues in workplace from a while ago. This is Natalie Thompson, who is the owner of Pangaea Global and also the co-founder of Breathe, Pray, Love. Welcome to you today, Natalie. How are you?
Thank you, Leisha. It's absolutely spectacular to see your face.
Yours as well. I miss seeing you. I do miss seeing you.
Know.
It's been a while.
I know.
COVID.
Yeah, we're definitely high vibers in a work environment, which is
definitely
always nice to be around.
We've known each other for a few years now, and obviously I'm familiar with what your business does. But for those of you who are not yet familiar with Natalie, we're going to obviously post your links. But can you just give us an overview of what your business does and why I've invited you on here today?
Yeah, sure. So I work specifically with software vendors all over the world. So that's from startups coming out of San Francisco and the US, startups obviously in the UK, and then larger software organizations, but it always seems to be the vendors, the tech vendors. So my background was, I didn't really come from a recruitment background. I actually was an enterprise software salesperson. And ran the UK channel so that's kind of how I fell into recruitment, and then sort of started up on my own, and now we work globally, so and I really enjoy it.
That's wonderful. So your business obviously has been very long standing, so talk to us about how Breathe, Pray, Love came about, because obviously that's been something since COVID began in March.
Well, so I'm kind of interested in alternative therapies. Got into meditation about 4 years ago. Kind of been on a bit of a journey sort of spiritually, as far as kind of what I believe. I believe in kind of progressing yourself, becoming aware of your patterns, your behavioural patterns, maybe why they're there. And when COVID hit, like all the hiring that I was doing went on stop. So it was like, okay, I ain't going to be doing anything for a while. I could get on LinkedIn and bother everybody like everybody else is doing, or I could just take a break, which I haven't ever really managed to do, because even when I go on holiday, constantly checking emails, checking stuff's happening. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna take some time out and just allow the universe to do what it's doing. Give nature a break. So interestingly, so I'd had a couple of breathwork sessions about a year ago. The first one, I just didn't get it at all. I think I was just too in my head. I was like, right, and I literally just couldn't let go at all, and didn't really understand fully what he was doing. And then the second couple that I really had some interesting responses. So I decided that I wanted to do a course in it, maybe learn how to facilitate it. So during that course, I spent a lot of time doing breathwork on myself.
Okay.
And it's just an absolute game changer. I just loved it. And then through doing the breath work, it's almost like, I think when you open one doorway and you allow, it's almost like other things just naturally come in.
Yeah, it's like
the
law of attraction.
Absolutely. I feel like when you're vibrating, or especially when you're following joy, and you're following something that you're passionate about, I think the universe has got an amazing way of kind of saying, okay, you're doing this, well, now I want to show you this.
Can you pause and tell us what exactly is breathwork for those who aren't familiar, because I'm not either. So talk to us about what that means.
So breathwork is conscious connected breathing. Okay, so it's a way of breathing that enables you to do a number of things. It works on 3 levels. So it works on a physical level. So basically, the idea is that when you don't process your emotions, so in our society, quite often, we are stopped in our tracks. You have an emotion, don't cry, don't do that, don't feel this, don't feel that, and we just suppress. And that's what leads to depression. It leads to anxiety. A lot of trauma people don't process because they think, well, I can't feel that. So by breathing in a certain way and oxygenating the body, it basically allows you to release. Okay, so you're releasing pockets of energy, you're releasing trapped emotions, And so it works really on 3 levels. So you can basically have a physical response, which I just shake. I'm literally like that, like shaking, or you can feel it in one area of your body. It feels great, by the way. It feels great. And then it happened in an emotional way. So I've never been a crier. I think I've always been a suppressor. I think that's probably why I've definitely experienced anxiety throughout my life, for sure. And I put a lot of that down to the fact that I am a suppressor. Well, I'm not anymore. Because honestly, when you learn to breathe in this way, the nice thing about it is you don't have to revisit your pain. Okay. Not like going to a counselling session where you have to go, okay, do you remember when this happened? That's really affected me. Okay. It literally is your body knows what to do. And you literally just feel it coming. And then I literally just did one the other day on a friend of mine. And she just suddenly kind of went, oh, I feel like I'm gonna cry. And it's like, doof. And the thing is, when it comes up, it's not like a trickle. We're not talking a little tear. We're talking, I've had responses where I've literally wailed. My neighbours must be so worried about what's going on in this house, because it's almost like it's coming from, it could be years and years of it.
So it's like
coming up to the surface. It's like Vesuvius, yeah, but it's not frightening. There's nothing about it where you go, oh my goodness me, I can't cope with this.
It must feel really empowering after you've done it, that you must just feel
amazing. You look like utter shit afterwards. But this is why it's good.
Right, yeah.
And so much lighter. Yeah. I can have stuff on my mind. Look, we all internalize things, and we've all done it. The best one is when you get in the shower. And another thing, and you've done this, and all that stuff. If you're even feeling a little bit of that, you can just choose to go and breathe. Once you know how to do it, you can literally just go and lie on your bed, learn, and within 9 minutes of that breathing, oof, it's all out on the table.
It's something. It's a coping strategy that isn't just a one-off sort of counselling.
Absolutely.
It's actually to deal with it day to day. Because, like you say, we've got continual anxiety all around us from the media. So it's really right. And I'm sorry to have interrupted your flow with it.
No, it's fine.
So we'll understand what that means.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going on to the cacao, I was going to come back to it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So the emotional stuff is groundbreaking, because that's what releases you from all your turmoil, and releases that pressure. Obviously the physical response is another way of just, because animals in the wild, when they have a trauma, or they are under attack, if they do manage to get free, you'll see them shake. Dogs do it. Dogs see another dog, they bark, and then they shake. We don't know how to process our trauma, so we store it in our body. And then the final one is from a spiritual level. Now, not everybody wants to go down that route, but once you turn off your critical mind, because the critical chat in your mind gets turned off when you're breathing like this.
Okay.
And this is when you open doorways to creative thoughts, creativity, ideas. You release self-limiting beliefs. I've had lots of experiences where I've just had a realization of a pattern of thinking or a behavior that I've done all my life, and I go, oh my God, it's like light bulb moments
going off.
Yeah, so it's incredible. And I would say definitely, from a mental health perspective, it's the one. It's just the one that will free you.
Something that anybody can do anywhere. You don't need equipment.
Anybody can do it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
What I've done is I've put some playlists together on Spotify, because what you ideally need is like 2 or 3 songs which are quite motivational, because this, I'm literally doing online classes now for people, but mostly just like for people just to help them out, and I'm mainly doing them free anyway, because I just think this should be accessible to everybody. And even in the work, especially in the workplace, especially now, and once you've kind of maybe done one session, I think you can go away and do it on your own and just practice it, because your body knows what to do. Your higher self comes in, it knows what to do.
It's a natural reflex that isn't,
and an intelligence. It's a divine intelligence really that comes through with all this stuff.
Okay, that's really interesting.
So super interesting. Yeah.
Well, thank you for defining that for us. I think for a lot of people, the Google search of breathwork and how do I do it will be on high alert. So going back into the story then, so you were basically sat here thinking, right, what can I do? business is going to be paused for however long. You're not
Yeah.
it's going to sit on your laurels, although it probably was a nice sabbatical for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So then talk to me about how the rest of it came about.
So yeah, so we're doing the breathwork training, and then saw this lady. She's a shaman actually, talking about cacao. So I was already quite interested in plant medicines and the use of plant medicines, because they're not really used in our society enough. And in fact, most of them are banned. However, I do think that plants have the answers. I was looking at quite a lot of stuff about microdosing psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, and they do it a lot in the Silicon Valley for creativity. We're not talking about tripping. We're talking about a tiny microdose, which is amazing for depression and anxiety, etc. So I was already kind of intrigued by that. And then I saw some stuff about cacao. So I was thinking, cacao, you can get that in Holland and Barrett, but we're talking ceremonial grade cacao. So cacao basically is the purest form of chocolate.
Yeah.
And the Ashaninka the Mayans and the Aztecs used to trade it like gold. It was that important to them. Okay. So effectively, it is a superfood. So for the physical benefits are absolutely amazing. It's got 40 times the antioxidants of blueberries.
Wow.
So that's saying something. Amazing for the cardiovascular system. I mean, the lists are endless. However, again, from a mental, I feel like all this stuff's come to me for me to help people with mental health, because what it does for you from a mental health perspective is incredible.
Okay.
So it boosts serotonin, it boosts dopamine. It's got something in it called anandamide, which is like your bliss molecule and the feeling of falling in love. Wow. So I was seeing about this stuff. I was like, really, surely it can't do all that, but I'll give it a go. I'm going to try it. And I decided to try it for 21 days. So I stopped drinking coffee every morning, got up, set my intent. You have to set your intention with it as well, because it is a plant medicine. It's legal, by the way. It is legal.
Yeah, she's not
you're not. It's not like you're not getting high. Let's put it that way. However, it definitely. I just noticed straight away. I just fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God.
When you say you noticed straight away, what do you mean? What was the change?
So like a lift. So obviously most people get up in the morning and they have coffee, or they'll drink coffee all day, which is absolutely shocking for your nervous system. It's an up and it's a down. Yeah. But it's an up and it's a down. Yeah. And the thing with the cacao is it not only lifts you, it gives you a feeling of well-being. It's a bit like a warm hug in a mug. But it's also it's a heart opener. So it makes you feel more connected. It makes you feel more compassionate, makes you feel more love in general, which I think we all need quite a lot of at the minute. And it's got all these wonderful chemicals in it that kind of fire off the right bits in your brain. So, like for example, the serotonin. So it's just it's a natural antidepressant, natural anti-anxiety. So it was at this point that I was like, why does nobody know about this?
Absolutely.
And why, and what I'm going to do about it. So at that point, I managed to find a source which was direct with the Ashaninka tribe in Peru.
Wow.
So it's and just thought, right, I'm gonna get this stuff. I'm gonna brand it and get it out to the masses, and that's what I was doing during lockdown.
You've been doing your short videos of preparation of it, which are, I mean, they're a must watch. If anyone wants an uplift, get the cacao for a minute. You should have a TV show. Absolutely wonderful.
There's a little song that you sing with it as well, because it's very much about intention. You don't have to go down that route. You don't have to kind of get on the whole spiritual bus with it, but it does help, because that's the intention behind it, and sometimes it's nice to go back to our roots, because I think mental health in our society is a pandemic. People talk about it being taboo, but guess what? Everybody's suffering. We're all suffering with it, because it's not our natural state is not this. The environment and the society that we live in is not supportive of our natural state.
No.
So everything within us is going, no. This isn't, this isn't working. So this is why we have to go back to the things in life, the simpler things that are actually there to nurture us and to support us in nature.
Definitely. And you know, if I look at, and the reason I was so keen for you to come on to the podcast and to YouTube is because our audience it comprises of recruiters predominantly, and that's an element of leadership and of, you know, people actually doing the job day to day. And I think that there's actually, I mean, I've been in recruitment 22 years, you've been in recruitment a very long time too. I don't think there's been a harder time to be a recruiter or a recruitment business leader. And mental health has never been more important. I think there's going to be a huge emphasis on that as we go forward. What will business leaders do to ensure they're protecting their employees? What can you do yourself to protect yourself? And there's going to be so many coping strategies, you know, meditation, there's going to be a focus on mental and physical well-being. And what really intrigued me about Breathe, Pray, Love is that it's something that's so pure and has been around for centuries. It's been around from the you don't need to go down the spiritual, you don't, I mean, that could potentially
well, that might open up if you're interested in it,
but you don't need to do that bit. The fact is, the physical benefits, those antioxidants, it sounds delicious. I can't believe I haven't tried it yet. I'm really ashamed to say, but I'm going to message you after this and I'm going to order some, because I do think it's, because I don't have any vices because I don't drink other than coffee. And anyone that knows
you're going to get a new one.
Well, I'm a bit of a, it's a huge benefit.
The key with all this as well is, you know, it's about, obviously there's stuff out there, you know, from a pharmaceutical basis. It's all an elastoplast, you know. It puts, you know, it covers over your emotions. You don't feel anything. You might feel better than you did, but you're really not in touch with your emotions at all, you know. Whereas this is a way of, it actually heals. It heals as it's supporting you as well.
This is,
you know, it's rebuilding the neural pathways. Antidepressants don't do that.
No. And we do, and I think that we've all had a chance this year to pause, and we've all had a chance to rethink what's important. And I think that's, you know, if you'd have come to the market with something like this a year ago, I think people would have thought, what the hell, you know, who's this shaman woman?
Well, I wouldn't have, probably wouldn't have,
You wouldn't have done it. You wouldn't, but you are a naturally very spiritual person. But I think there's the audience that are listening and watching this will probably be very intrigued by what you're talking about. So we'll make sure all the links are on there. So what would your top tips for well-being be for people listening and watching?
I just think absolutely try the breath work more than anything, for just, you know, opening yourself up and releasing the stuff we're all holding on to, stuff that just doesn't serve us anymore, and it can go. And you know, it's really quite easy to do. It's probably, you know, first few sessions you might not get that much of a release, but as you start to practice, you'll just be like, wow, oh my goodness, you know. And once you can relieve yourself of that and that pressure, then, you know, you kind of, you're just free, and you'll be much freer and much more able. Because there's one of the main things about it, which I forgot to say earlier, sorry, is the vagus nerve. Okay, so the vagus nerve is really important in getting you out of your sympathetic nervous system. If you're in your sympathetic nervous system, that's when you're in your fight or flight. Okay, so obviously with a lot of us are in that at the minute, particularly because of what's going on. So by toning your vagus nerve, which is what happens when you do breath work, it brings you naturally into your parasympathetic.
Okay.
So the breath work really is not just about releasing, it's also about toning your vagus nerve. And if you can do that, that's the game changer, because that will stop your thoughts giving you a physical response.
Which is what it's all about, protecting yourself. And I imagine that all of these things will protect your immune system, which we all need to think about doing.
Huge on the immune system. Breath work works on a cellular level. So yeah,
there's just I can't see any disadvantages, to be honest with you. I mean, are there any
aren't any
words of caution? I mean, if you think about somebody that maybe is in out of their bubble at the moment, they're living on their own, is it advisable to do this without physical support around you? I mean, what would your recommendations be on that?
I mean, to be honest, there's that many people doing it online now. I think, you know, if you're in a crisis situation mentally, if you've got a very, you know, if you are experiencing a very tough time mentally and with trauma and emotion, and you're already like tipped right over, then you might want to wait and be able to do it with somebody. That's what I would say. But I think, you know, for most people, this is fine. You lay down, you know, nothing can really happen to you. You just take it easy.
I can't imagine anybody that's not going to enjoy that. And can anybody access your playlist on Spotify?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I will. I'll double check what
action
it's
points
called.
here. Well, no problem. I mean, the most important thing is that we get people to look at your website and to connect to you.
Yeah.
And you sound like someone who's really passionate about it. And what are you, I mean, what's happening in your world then in terms of software vendors? Is there much?
Oh, it's just going through the roof again now.
So
So I had like 3 or 4 months, had a few bits working on here and there, but again, I think I just like relinquished the control. And then the universe propelled me into this other realm, which I'm now doing alongside, you know, the two things together, and I can do it both, you know, do both things. But yeah, very, very busy now with hiring for software vendors all over the world. So yeah, it's going really well.
Very pleased to hear it. Well, it's wonderful that you joined us. As always, absolutely radiating. For those who are listening, you need to go and check on YouTube, because Natalie, always, you just exude this. You and I have got very similar energy. We're both bonkers. When you get me and you together in a room, it's just no one else has a chance, do they?
No.
You are literally Little Miss Sunshine, and thank you so much for joining us today. We're really grateful for you.
Thank you so much, darling. Thank you.
Bye.